Benjamin School
Okay,
for, their fundraiser night.
Karen,
Sir,
your head cold?
my hair's jacked up, neck is cold.
Are you on your way?
I'm sorry.
The
Oh, you're
workshop.
fine, I'm
You're
just,
supposed to get a good.
it tends to just spread out, right?
I get it, I understand.
Oh,
Just let me
Okay.
know, I'll
we
move.
got a quorum, so it'll
You are
probably,
good.
it'll be in action.
Once I'm set up, I'll start
Okay,
to
alright.
bring the sprawl back in, right?
I get you.
She's coming?
He said she's on her way. You wanna start? Let's call it to order.
Councilman Sexton,
Here,
Councilman Cleveland,
Here.
Councilman Kimball,
Did you say Campbell? Here.
Councilman Nelson,
present.
and Councilman Washington. All right, we have one.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, first, Council Bill number 24-20, an ordinance of City of Normandy amending Chapter 110 of Normandy Code of Ordinances regarding the City Council attendance policy. So this was where we were discussing having a grace period. Did anybody come up with any, I believe the conversation was whether we should have 30 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. I think that's where we were.
So if it's 30 minutes, the meeting starts at,
6:30.
we do a lot between 6:30 and 7. I say 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was thinking 10 minutes.
10 minutes, 10 minutes, good too.
Because I think by the time we do attendance, Pledge of Allegiance,
Consent agenda.
consent agenda, like you're into the public comments part, and it's kind of an important, I think it's an important part of the meeting.
Yes.
And this is actually, our minutes started, our meeting started at 5:30, but we pushed it back to 6:30, I think.
They used to start at
Is that
7:30.
7:30, or push it forward? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think 10 minutes is good. I mean, what does everybody else think?
I say 15.
15?
Yeah, I think 15
Karen says
sounds,
15.
15 sounds flexible enough.
Councilman Washington and Councilman Nelson, what do you guys think about grace period?
I'd say between 10 and 15.
10 or 15, which you
Between. I'd say 15. 15.
Well, I never did agree with it from the beginning. And there were times that I spoke to previous Mayor Beckman, Sam, as well as you, that members were coming in late, just strolling in. And I don't know how well the attendance was done, but I thought that it wasn't, it didn't take off from the beginning. And then now we're months later, almost a year later, and we're still talking about this attendance thing for the council. And it spoke about the previous board, what was going on there. It didn't have anything to do with this new board. But I just thought we'd just amend the whole thing. We're all council people, representing the city, representing the citizens. And I think we all should be, astute enough to do the job that you've been elected to do. And we spent a whole lot of time with this. We got a couple council, I think 2 council members have gotten reprimanded or money taken or whatever, and they weren't pleased. So I just think it's a whole lot of stuff that we're doing that it doesn't pertain to what the city needs to be done. So I think we need just to amend it all, you know. That was your idea when you first came in, right?
It was my idea, and the reason why it was my idea is because we had several meetings where we needed to have work done, and people did not email to say that they had an issue. We had people that just boycotted the meeting for whatever reason, and there wasn't any accountability being taken into place. And actually, an attendance policy is something that other communities do have. And in my opinion, like you said, people should know to come on time and everything, but if you're not there on time, or you're not there at all, then you should be held accountable. So we only require one meeting per month. And this is the one time that you come and you know, like you say, talk to your constituents and you let people know what's going on and everything like that. So now, the attendance policy that I had was you either come and you get paid, or you don't come and you don't get paid, and that's it. Now, later, last year, so let's remember it correctly, there were 2 other council members who wanted to change it to have 2 absences and things like that and everything. $250 shouldn't be breaking your house, in my opinion. So either you come, that was my idea when I put it forth, you come and you get paid, or you don't come and you don't get paid. And I think accountability is something that I think everybody can agree on is
That has been lacking
Yes.
for years.
not lacking. I think now we have a council that is, you know, active and they show up and everything. But like I always say, we're not always gonna be the people sitting in these seats. And so since we're not always gonna be the people that are sitting in these seats and you cannot predict the future, I think you gotta have some what do you call it? Some teeth to the, you know, to the ordinance.
I understand what you're saying. Well, I did speak to, I guess we all spoke to Andy about it. And then Andy, remember, you said that the next board can just amend it and throw this out of the way. So it's not nothing that's gonna be standing for the next 30, 40 years.
No, I'm not saying that, but I think I don't wanna get off topic because the topic on the table is we do have it now. And what's the grace period do we wanna, so we have 3 people that say 15 minutes. I'm willing to do 15 minutes. I think that's
I
reasonable.
understand what you're saying, but, Mayor Pro Tem, remember, you said it, we did it once, it didn't work. Now we're working it on a year or 2 later.
I don't know what we did once and it didn't
Well, I
work.
mean, when you first did the bill, you know, it didn't go right. No one agreed with it. We had board members that didn't come, and they still didn't get reprimanded. They came and nothing was said. I brought it to Sam's attention, if you can recall. Sam said, well, nothing I can do, that's a board member. So, like I'm saying is, why are we spending so much time on that?
Well, we're not spending time on it. You just need to tell me 10 or 15 minutes. And that's
Well,
it.
I want to amend it.
You want to get rid of it altogether?
Yes, because we
Okay.
have 8 board members, meaning that if you can't come, my board member said, I can't come, make sure you go. So we have to communicate, that's what we don't have, we don't have
Well,
that
you can put a motion on the
communication.
floor to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I mean, yeah, I put a motion on the floor to amend it.
So we got a motion on the floor to,
If I can make a comment first. This is my second go-around. And the first go-around was 12 years. It was an unwritten rule, that if you weren't going to attend, you just put a call in to the mayor so they knew ahead of time. That's the way it was years ago, and if there was a chance that there wouldn't be enough for a quorum, that's when he would, or she, would get on the phone and call the council people that couldn't make it at that point. So they knew before, 2 or 3 hours or so before the meeting, maybe more, if there was even going to be a meeting, if they had enough for a quorum. So I understand what you're saying. That wouldn't bother me either way. But I understand what you're saying. I understand, and it could be amended. It could be thrown out tomorrow. We could pass it today. It could be thrown out tomorrow. I understand that. To me, you can go either way with it. I thought the other way was fine,
which way?
where if you weren't going to be there for whatever reason, you made a simple phone call, you send a text or an email, I think there was emails back then, to the mayor and said, I'm not going to be able to make it tonight. And you usually gave them 24 hours notice. That way they could play with the phone for the people that may not be able to make it to see if there's gonna be a quorum.
And the other option is too, you can get on Zoom.
Yeah,
So that's, but if you just don't, and I want to remember what happened the way that it happened. And I will say, that was my reason for doing it, is because we had council people that just did not show up. Now, like I said, I don't think $250 is gonna break your house.
Right.
I don't.
May
So
I say-
either my thing was, you show up, you get paid, or
Right.
you do or you
Exactly.
don't. But if you guys want to vote on it, clearly it is up to the council to.
let me add this. I've been on this board for 4 terms, close to 8 years. We had one bad year with that situation. And the one bad year, I don't think that we have to change something that had one bad year that's gonna go forward. Because this is our job. Our job, working for the citizens, elected officials, is to come to the board meetings, make sure that the city is running properly and people are getting their services and things like that. We spend a lot of time on what happened in the past. We always say, let's forget about the past, let's go forward, you know? So that's the way I see it. I look at it like this. I'm gonna be here 4 terms. I think I missed one board meeting. One, I think, and I had an excuse for that. But my constituent who was on the board, when I didn't come, they came and represented. So that's all I got to say. And I do have it, the motion on the floor to just amend it and let's go forward.
I will say that, to me, one bad year is 1 year too many. And the reason why I say that is because in a year, in a month, in a week, there are so many things that happen, that change, that need to be dealt with. And to say we only had one bad year, to me, just does a disservice. That year did a true disservice to Normandy and to his residents. So, with that being said, motion on the floor to.
So I heard amend, do you
You
mean
need-
eliminate?
you need eliminate.
Eliminate.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
can you state your motion?
Is that- Yeah.
Yeah.
I make a motion to amend Council Bill 24-20. Can I get a second?
Or you amend it, or
To
you
amend it to what? To eliminate the attendance
yeah,
requirement?
Eliminate the attendance requirement.
Okay,
That's
so
the right word.
subsection C.
Yeah, section C.
Okay.
Help me out.
Let's give Vicky.
And just to remind everyone, subsection C currently states that every member of the council shall be required to attend all regular meetings of the council. Does not apply to special meetings or workshops or rescheduled regular meetings. It provides that any member of the council declared absent shall forfeit their pay. And previously, what it currently reads as well is that a member shall be deemed absent if they are not present at the start of the meeting and there through the end, right? And we added that because when you just have a statement that a member shall be declared absent without any guidance, it puts city staff in kind of an awkward position to have to decide, well, what constitutes absent, right? So that's why but you're asking to eliminate that entire section. I just want to make sure that everyone's
Right.
clear on the language there. Okay, cool.
Hello, Vicky.
What's the motion? So
There was a motion.
We're voting on the attendance ordinance to get rid of the pay.
Yeah, I understand. Has there already been discussion, or am I?
Yes, this is the
Okay.
vote.
So, Councilman Nelson made a motion to amend it as written to eliminate the attendance requirement. So we just go back to how it was originally, where you get paid no matter what. And he's looking for a second.
Okay, gotcha.
We have a second? Lacking a second, the amendment dies. Okay,
Okay, so again, the amendment as drafted that received a first reading at the November meeting eliminates the section of current subsection C, the clause that says that a council member shall be deemed to have attended a meeting only if the member is present at the start of the regular meeting and remains present until the meeting, including any closed meeting immediately following, is adjourned. So if the amendment as written and it has received a first reading, goes forward and receives a second reading and is adopted at the February meeting, then we will be back where we don't have a clearly defined definition of what it means to be absent. So I'm just clarifying that. So are there any, I mean, that's what we're here to discuss,
Yeah,
right?
we were
Should
talking, yeah, we were talking about adding a 15-minute.
Right, but we never,
We never talked about, yeah, what absent.
I'm just
If we
waiting
wanna do
for,
the 15 minutes.
I'm
the
waiting for
motion.
direction
Yeah,
from
make-
from the council,
Um,
right?
I think, we were saying 15 minutes is.
I think I was about 15 minutes.
Can I make a motion, can I make a motion to amend, what section is this?
Subsection 110.04.c.
Section 110.04C to allow for a 15-minute grace period.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it.
All right,
Need a
I will,
second on that?
I thought I did. I thought I was the first.
Yeah, she was the first.
Oh, you moved, I seconded it.
all right, I will amend,
I need a Band-Aid.
No, we're-
I will amend Council Bill 2420, and we will have that before council for a second reading at the February meeting.
Okay.
Council Bill number 25-01, an ordinance of the City of Normandy amending Chapter 135 of the Code of Ordinances and Personnel Policy Manual of the City of Normandy regarding investigation, discipline, and termination of police officers. I'm gonna let Sam give, we talked about this at the last council meeting.
Yeah, so I'll give basically the same explanation I gave at the last council meeting, and then if the council has any questions about the specifics or the bill in general, then we can get into that. But again, this is amendment to our personnel manual, our city code, and our general orders to implement policies regarding the police officer bill of rights. So I think it was in 2021, the state of Missouri passed a law basically setting out protections for police officers, requiring that cities and police departments follow very specific steps in the investigation process, including like making sure that they have a right to an attorney during the investigation, that all their rights are read, and that they have proper notice before an investigation starts. And then also, it added a requirement that they be offered a hearing to make sure that that process was followed. And then there are also a few other things that we need to amend that are related to that bill. But it mostly has to do with the investigation of police officers, and then if there is discipline resulting from that investigation, making sure that they have proper appeal rights. And so what this bill does is we've already been following these for a few years now, but we do need to amend our policies to make sure that they're consistent with state law, and that way it's written down. So this changes the city code relating to the personnel board, who plays a role in this. It changes our personnel policy manual. I believe the whole manual is printed out in tonight's packet, but it only affects a few sections. And the sections affected are in red. And then it also changes our general orders. Are there any questions about what this bill is or any changes?
Yeah, I am. And all these changes are made to comply with statute, is that right?
Yes.
With the state.
590, 502. The revised statutes.
The Police Officer Bill of Rights is kind of the colloquial title. You may have heard of it. I mean, it was kind of in the news a few years ago.
Right.
we voting on this, or is this for the consent agenda?
No, so this is, and it's been a
This is
while
the
since we've
second.
had a workshop, so, but we're going back, now that we're done with the holidays, we're going back to, we have a first reading, and then we take the bill to the workshop for a discussion, and any amendments, any changes, and then we take it to the next meeting for a second reading and final passage. It's the normal procedure for legislation. So this is just the time to answer your questions, time for discussion, time to make any changes to the bill before the second reading.
Any questions, comments, concerns? None? Okay.
So what exactly are we changing for us, the policy?
Yeah, so, let's see. As far as, I'll just start. The first amendment is to the actual city code. So, it changes, this would be the second, after page 2 of 2, right before the personnel manual, you'll see Exhibit A. And this is section 135.03 over relating to the personnel board. And before there, you can see they're struck through our old process, which the personnel board had a right to review disciplinary action. This clarifies it to that hearing, we still have that hearing's not going away, but it is now a substantive hearing. That way it's not confused with the due process hearing, which is required under the Police Officer Bill of Rights. So that's the first change. It kind of clarifies the substantive hearing, which is a process that we've already had in place, and that's before the Personnel Board. So if someone gets fired, they appeal, Personnel Board hears it, they have a whole hearing about it, and then they either confirm or, support or vote against the decision of the city administrator in that case and the police department, and then actually it goes to you guys for final disposition, the city council. So that just clarifies the substantive hearing because the Police Officer Bill of Rights requires a due process hearing, which is slightly different. The personnel manual on page 31 lays out kind of more of those changes and lays out what the due process hearing is. So one, it updates and make sure it mirrors the language in the city ordinance, but then in subsection B, it says any police officer suspended without pay, promoted, terminated, or transferred, resulting in economic loss, shall be entitled to a due process hearing before the city administrator. So if they do get disciplined, then they can request a hearing before me, and we're not, that hearing is not to consider whether the decision was just or not, it's to make sure that the investigative process was followed properly. So that's the main amendment to the personnel manual. There's a few
If I can
other
just
things.
kind of piggyback on that a little bit, what the statute provides is that if, so once the hearing before the city administrator, the due process hearing has been held, the police officer can appeal that to the courts. And if the court decides that the processes and procedures required under the Police Officer Bill of Rights were not followed, then the court will undo the action that was taken, the suspension or termination or what have you, and basically kick it back down. It doesn't mean that the city can't just do it again, right, if there's still a basis to terminate or suspend somebody. This is just really to make sure that those investigatory rights and those procedural rights are being followed strictly. Right?
Right.
So, Andy, while we're on the personnel area, is it possible we could have you read 8.1, political activities, to the board, so we can go over that, because in the past, we had some problems in that area, so we won't have to have that same, the same problem. We got an election coming up. Is it possible you can read that? You know,
I mean, if the council wants to discuss that, I mean, it's not really on the agenda right now, but I'm happy
well, it's personnel, so.
to read it.
I thought maybe,
Sure, but it's 8.1 political activities. I'm happy to read through that
Yeah.
if the council would like me
okay?
to, right? I mean,
Acknowledgement for us?
I think we all know it.
it's just
Well,
not a
that is-
section that's being
That's not,
amended right
that's
now.
not the section on the agenda that's being,
Well, I just
Or
figured since we're
amended.
talking about personnel, I think maybe we,
well,
we're gonna- we're
if
going
that's
for
something that
personnel.
you wanna put on the February.
Yeah, okay, that's
We
fine,
could do
yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
right now, we're only talking about the,
Okay, well, we're talking about personnel, so I thought maybe we could.
Yeah, and I mean, if we want to have a conversation about the scope of allowable political activities and things like that, then I would love to provide a deeper analysis on that.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared to do anything beyond kind of,
Okay, so we'll
Read
put that
this
on the
right now.
agenda for the next meeting?
yeah, sure.
yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, thank you, appreciate that.
So it clarifies the substantive hearing, sets up the due process hearing, and then in the general orders, there are two general orders that it changes. It lays out the actual investigative process that has to be followed, and as well as some other rights that are afforded to police officers through the state statute. For instance, if you do give them written discipline, then they have the right to enter anything in response into their personnel file. So if you give them a write-up, they can basically put a letter in response, and that has to stay in their file with the write-up. For instance, that's one thing that's in there. The other things are about making sure that they have 24-hour notice before any interview, and making sure that they can have an attorney present, that their Garrity rights are read, and that the interview's conducted on city property, that they, we're not calling them in at 1 a.m. if they're working the day shift to come in to the interview. It has to be at a reasonable time. And so all that stuff in red is basically mirroring the requirements set out in 59502.
So Sam, is this something new, or have we always had this?
It's some changes to some procedures. Like we've always had investigative procedures, and you can see what they are in black, but it does change the procedures. And then to answer, I would also answer that since 59502 went into effect, we have been following that. Even though there are some minor discrepancies which we're trying to fix.
There have been some things that have been changed. On the whole, I think what this does is really supplements what already exists. There's not a lot that is being really struck out here. There are some minor things here and there, but mostly what 59502 is just adding to this. So it's not a major change in the sense that we're not doing certain things. It's a change in the sense that we've just added to and expanded the policy here.
Okay, thank you.
Yes? Alright. Resolution 2505, a resolution of the City of Normandy awarding a bid of Natural Bridge Road Median Improvement Project and authorizing city officials to execute a contract on behalf of the City of Normandy with the winning bidder. So, former Mayor Green is here to talk about this. I'm gonna allow, if nobody objects, him to talk about great streets, because this speaks to what a few people were asking about last time. In the interest of just keeping it the same, I guess we'll just, I'm gonna talk for like 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, have it.
Thank you, to council, to staff. I just came because I wanted to give a little history on Grave Streets for those who may not be aware. The importance of it, 7-year project. From day one, when we started under Jim Murphy, all the way through to the finish line, to the constructional completion that you see out here today. The importance of this was walkability. This was a highway for Highway 7. This was our highway in St. Louis to the airport. Was not walkable, not adaptable for economic development because of its condition, which was a key factor for us as a small city. we needed to change the appearance. We had the ability to do this under grade streets. There were 3 of them actually in St. Louis, metropolitan area, St. Louis, us, Manchester. We were the only one completed. And the years of working with MoDOT was difficult. MoDOT's a highway department, not Alberici, not a specialized contractor. So the difficulty of the engineering, also getting everybody design, construction, and everybody on the same page to meet our needs. And again, those 3 characteristics were economic development, walkability, safety, because before you wouldn't be caught dead strolling down Natural Bridge on a 3-foot, 4-foot sidewalk. The other part was slowing traffic down, safety, because we saw that up on the upper part of Natural Bridge after Grade Street was created here with a roundabout, where we saw a lot of people speeding in the city of St. Louis. MoDOT realized it worked, and it does slow traffic down. And people who want to just gun the pedal right through the T-bone intersection when they hit your family member. So we took all those things in consideration, and so I encourage the board. Maintenance-wise, we set up a half-cent economic development tax. I was the one who pushed that tax through for the purpose that one day we would need it for these purposes. And the previous board allocated that money to be used for the repairs and anything else associated with Natural Bridge and Grade Street project. I don't know if that's occurring today or not, but it was designated and approved by that board previously for that to be done. Replacement of the lights, the concrete molding that you see out there. I believe each one of those pieces that you see in an island, somewhere between, and I might be wrong, $1,000 and $1,500 a piece. But when you stop and think about what it's there for, it's a barrier. I was here for many years, saw lots of accidents out there, people crossing over from the other side, speeding, running from the police, you name it, drunk drivers. It was set up so it would prevent a lot of that, and it has. Now, you can't stop the kid that wants to drive radically, come off Forest Road and run right up into the Natural Bridge. Actually, so you're aware, I experienced that one day. Stolen car, watched him wipe out right there, called our police. And they picked the young gentleman up. But what that barrier did was stop him from going straight into the fountain. And that's where he would have been without those barriers. So when we talk about wanting to flatten that out, you're actually creating a safety issue. Because anyone who wants to run for the police, they got to speed right up to that area, either slow down or wipe out. Meaning they will hit those. And I always say, I'd rather hit a piece of concrete worth $1,500 than kill another human being. So that was our conversation. Those were the purposes of keeping that from being a T-bone intersection. And MoDOT actually literally fought us on it. Me and Betty Bennett. Actually, Mark Beckman sat on that committee. Some of our citizens in the area sat on that committee. And they fought us tooth and nail because of the cost. But eventually, it went through. And the other factor was also, what you experienced, I think, a week ago here, the highway backing up. People get impatient. They were, in the past, they just run through that intersection while the light was red or green. They can't do that with a roundabout. They're forced to merge in at a slow rate. So those barriers that you see around that circle, that are on that outer part, stop that from happening. And so I'm encouraging the board and all that are here. You probably have enough money to do the repair. From what I'm hearing, the amount you're talking about spending, it exceeds you could do it cheaper, the repair cheaper, actually. So, because again, it was creating an attractive environment for economic development for residents to go into the business district from UMSL, people to stroll and move down the street. And there was a number of key factors from lighting to, you name it, the 8-foot sidewalks we have out there. So Again, I hope that gives you a better understanding of why it was done and the number of years and how difficult it was to get it done. So we're one of only one in the whole 89 municipalities, St. Louis region, that has what you see out there. So all I can say is encourage that it's not anywhere in the metropolitan area. It doesn't exist. And that was designed to distinguish us, Normandy. And the other goal was, later down the road, was to push this further down into Pine Lawn, which is still there. That potential for MoDOT to do the same thing is still there. So, and we share a part with, so you're aware, UMSL. UMSL was our partner in this. So they take care of their section, we would take care of our section. We funded it with that half-cent economic development fund that was designated by the board. And typically, and I still remember numbers, it's 50 to 60,000 comes in that every year for that purpose. And then we also utilize volunteers. And someone asked me, what about the risk? Well, the risk is signing a waiver that you will not sue. We always had people, when they did volunteers for us, be it on Natural Bridge or even in the community. Myself and Rodney Jarrett, God bless his soul, we would sign waivers when we would go onto a private person's property to do work, so there wasn't a risk of the city getting sued. So you have all those abilities to do that. I encourage to make that part of your mission, because it once was in our mission statement. It's not there anymore, volunteerism. Because we have lots of people we can draw from, like University City has an entire group that does this, and they would be happy to join us. And many other communities also. So I offer that to the board, offer that to the staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sam, do you want to talk about can you pull up the rendering?
I just have
Are
these.
you printed?
Yeah, and each one's different, but he's passing around, and I mean, you kind of get the idea from anyone. I'll just kind of lay out the history of this, because I think there were some questions. These renderings, I believe, we sat down in a workshop in the summer of 2023. We've had these renderings for a while, and we talked about it with the city council. If this is the direction we wanted to go. Eventually, it was funded in the fiscal year 24 budget, and that was only, less than 6 months ago, and the council never, voted to remove it from the budget. So we put it in the budget, so we went ahead and got the specs drawn up to do the project, and spent money with the engineer to do that. And so now we're just carrying out what you guys put into the budget. So this is the bid acceptance phase. It is the point of no return. I mean, once we do this, then we have an obligation to sign a contract, and then they have an obligation to do the work. However, it probably would have been more cost effective and just efficient if you guys are having second thoughts to make this decision at budget time. I will say, regarding the costs and the Economic Development Fund, with the dissolution of the TIF, we do receive more Economic Development funds each year. So right now we have a budget at $110,000 in sales tax coming in. However, in utilities and street lighting and fountain maintenance, as well as other parts that don't even concern the medians of the Great Streets project, we have $70,000 budgeted. So $25,000 for contracted services. That's for various projects. Well, I will say, I mean, depending on how much maintenance the fountain needs each year, we've spent between $10,000 and $20,000 in that with that each year. And I think, you know, there's capital there that needs replacing every once in a while. I think we need a new motor, and there's some upkeep costs there. The streetlights and utilities along the water for the fountain, we pay out of the sales tax fund, and then the lights on Natural Bridge, make sure those are lit every night, we pay that electricity bill. And it's not just about the cast stone footings, which it has been a while since I got a quote, but those cast stone footings are custom made, and anytime you have what I've been told is anytime you have a curving cast stone, it is pretty expensive. So back when the north triangle, or the Florissant Road, where Florissant Road connects to Natural Bridge, we got a quote, I believe it was about $10,000 just to have the cast stone shipped to St. Louis from the company in Chicago that makes them.
How much?
It was over $10,000. I don't have the number
For
in front of me.
shipping?
Yes, to make them and ship them.
How many?
I think it was not the full thing, it was just the corner
It was
piece.
just the part that was broken.
If we wanted to keep cast stone, I would recommend changing the design. Town and Country, or not Town and Country, sorry, Creve Coeur has, I guess they're cast stone or concrete, but I recommend going to like a more straighter design. And it has been a few years, it's been since early 2022, since we were trying to get companies to help us out with this, when we thought, well, we can just repair it. There's a local cast stone company in St. Charles County, and they said, well, we're not gonna bid on that just because the amount of molds we'll need to do that work it's gonna not be very cost effective. So the design that they're in right now is expensive. Beyond that, just even if just the grass in the median, flowers in the median, then you get into landscaping costs. And we wanted to have it properly landscaped, mulched, weeded, flowers, annuals planted each year. I think we could easily spend, and then the irrigation would need fixed too. The irrigation is busted. We could easily spend, $100,000 a year, depending on how nice you wanted to look at that, or wanted it to look. So, I think, the we'll call it $190,000 that we're looking to spend right now, is a small upfront cost to still make it look nice, still have it be walkable. We'll still have the wide sidewalks, we'll still have the big tree lawns, we'll still have the trees, we'll still have the pedestrian crossings, but we can, if we want it to look nice and how it's supposed to look, like how Umsel keeps theirs, even though they're having issues keeping up on some certain items, I've noticed when I drive by. We could easily spend, half of what we're gonna spend on this project, and we'll eventually run out of money in the Economic Development Fund.
Well, I mean, there's some things like, you don't have to put annuals in there, there's no reason to. If you look at the stuff that UMSL's got in front of there, they've got hardy hibiscus, and they're very hardy. They come back, all you gotta do is come down in the spring and leave the sticks up during the winter. You can put in native grasses that are, you could put any number of things that would be better than concrete, in my opinion. I think that, and I look at this diagram, if we're looking at a regular 6-inch curve with concrete across, what is to stop people who are crazy from driving over those? Because they will do it.
Yeah.
They'll do it.
I will say, we did have a meeting with MoDOT about these renderings, and you'll notice even in the renderings that there are bollards, and MoDOT said no to the bollards. They're worried that they will just cause more accidents. And we asked, well, aren't they supposed to protect the pedestrians? And they said, well, if you want to protect pedestrians, you should get, flashing crosswalks, and that's what they recommend. And they're almost worried about like a pincushion kind of scenario as well. I don't know what goes into their highway safety standards. I mean, obviously they approve what is out here.
Right.
Well, it's a
But-
liability for them. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah.
It's the liability. They see a ballot to stop a car. That concrete molding is part of the, like you said, design structure. But it does the same thing, but one is actually legally designed, which makes you liable. Because that's why MoDOT won't do it. Because we spoke to them about the very same thing you're talking about. And they do not want to take on that liability. But design-wise, to put a barrier in, which is what the concrete molding you see does the same thing. And I was concerned when you said this is going to cost $100,000 because are you talking about everything, lights, plantings, everything? Because every year, what costs that? That was just a one-time cost if you repair it. Then you start into another year, or like we would do, then, let's say we had something damaged, a light, we would spend money on it this year until next budget of cost coming back in.
So what we're talking about actually now is the actual medians and not the lighting or anything like that.
But you said 100,000, right, Sam, for the medians? That's what you designated, you said it would cost. I wanted to get clarity, so I heard.
Yeah, I mean, we're spending 70,000 right now just on the utilities, and maintenance of the items that we do have out there.
Okay.
We just finally got the tree grates in, that were like $10,000, to have them with the fleur-de-lis. But,
Collective cost.
yeah, I think if you wanted to landscape the medians, and hire a landscaper to do that work, to make sure that there's mulch put down, that there aren't weeds growing, and even if you do have hardier plants, if you don't do annuals, you could easily spend over $100,000 out there every year. You could easily, to make it look nice, I don't think the $110,000 we take in every year is going to keep up with that. And that also doesn't leave us any money to do anything else with our economic development sales tax fund.
Because we did it for a lot less, that's why I'm trying to get collectively.
Well,
how
I think
that came to be.
I'm gonna.
Well, Sam, I'm gonna ask a question.
So
I'm sorry.
I think the thing that we need to remember is that Sam has done his due diligence when it comes to getting bids, the renderings, and everything. And like he said, we as a council did sit down and talk about like what we were going to do with this money. Now, what comes into play, or to me, is do you want it to look like this or not? And can we maintain it? And let's not forget the past. Let's not do that, where the flowers at the circle, the maintenance was not done, and there was nothing in the budget to keep that going. So let's remember what actually happened. There wasn't any money to keep the tulips and to keep the petunias and to keep those things going and everything. And we went for a long time without having anything at the circle, or just dead things at the circle. And then I wrote the grant, and they fixed the irrigation that was already there. If you drive down Natural Bridge, there's tubing coming out of the medians. They've been mowed over. People go to the bus stop, and if you have grass versus man will always win. That's just the way that it is. The grass is dead. The tubings are coming out. We've had a lot of accidents. I've seen accidents myself where people have rolled when they've hit that curved concrete. I don't think it's sustainable for us to keep things the way that they are. In my opinion, if you start a project and then you do not have, if you don't own what it is that you have, for instance, like the molds, and you're getting them all the way from Chicago, that's not cost effective. You can't, there's no way that you can continue to do that, because what happens? Fuel goes up, concrete prices go up, labor goes up, and we've all seen this. That's what happens. And
Okay,
so I
so-
think the thing is, do you want to keep it neat and clean? And yes, you can get volunteers. We just had UMSL night. We probably had, what, 25 people come? We're looking at, so if you're talking about people getting involved and people doing this and everything like that, we just had the survey for the city. We have a lot of older people that are in this community. Are they gonna get out in the medians, and are they gonna get out in weed and everything? And if we wanna talk about like with the liability when it comes to the city, we got the lawyer sitting right here. I don't wanna see people in the middle of the median getting hit. I don't wanna see people trying to like pull weeds and everything like that. I don't think that's sustainable. We have Wayside Garden with a house that's been sitting there for I don't know how long,
Well,
and we
I
have an
think
older
public-
community that can't maintain it. So I think the best thing for us to do is to keep it neat and clean, and it's been like that for a very, very, very long time. It has.
Very, very is relative. I'm 76 years old, so very, very to me is very different from what you see. And I think that there, you know, you're presenting it, and I love you, but you're presenting it as a devil of the deep blue sea. I think there's some median here, and when you talked about the fact that there was no money to take care of it, the half-cent sales tax was already in effect. Now, if it was being used for something else, then we have to acknowledge it was being used for something else. But and I was around before Natural Bridge looked, you know, when they still had the fork here in the road.
Right.
I went to UMSL, took Natural Bridge all the way home every day. And so I know the history of it and what it looked like and all of that. And I think we were just neighbors, we were just little Glen Echo Park, but everybody in the area was really excited, and it was really beautiful when this happened. I think what happened with the changing of administrations, that there was neglect. There was neglect, and there was also people who didn't know what they were doing, pulling at things, pulling up things. There were perennials that were planted that people just pulled out. I saw them doing it. And I think that we do look at some sort of a process, what we like to do in urban situations is to soften the edges. To soften the edges. So I have a couple of concerns about the project as it's funded and as it's drawn. I wasn't a part of this discussion because I wasn't on the board yet. But when we look at where we are right now, fiscally, where we are right now in terms of what's going on in the political world around us and what that may mean for us, I just don't think it's wise right now, today, to go ahead and spend this money for this year. I think it's too much money on this when there's too much uncertainty in the world.
I'd like to add something, please. I understand what you said. I agree with you, Vicki. The molding, the molding around the fountain, where'd you do with it? Where'd you go? And did we have any?
You talking to me?
opposition? No, I'm just speaking to the board, to Sam.
The
Well, the molding, where did it go?
the molding is owned by the company in Chicago. He just said that.
No, you mean the one that
You're
was
What about
there?
the molding that was there?
It got hit like 5 different times.
Okay, so,
Especially that fluorescent one in particular.
You mean like what did we do with the pieces?
what I'm saying is, did we have any authorization from the board to remove the molding, the one that's there? Because all of the molding was not damaged,
You mean, so
Yeah, and then
the
what did it
crack
cost?
pieces?
What was the cost of that?
So
What
the
did it cost?
so the molding
I'm talking to
was,
Sam, please.
wait,
That
hold on.
No, I'm talking to Sam.
Hold on. I don't want to I don't want to go back and forth. But the molding, are you talking about the molding that was at Florissant Road, like when it got hit?
I'm not talking about the molding that got hit. Some of the molding was still there, Did we have, board approval, and what was the cost
I,
to,
I don't
So-
think there was, I think it just got hit again and then it was in the road, so we cleared it.
so all of the molding was damaged?
Are you talking about the last one from the motorcycle accident where the person,
I don't know what
This
it was.
past summer.
I'm just talking about demolding. All the molding was totally destroyed?
the last of the molding that we took that away after that motorcycle accident. Every piece was cracked, it was not reusable. And it's actually at Public Works yet.
Okay. Okay, so what was the cost to do that? Was there a cost
Well,
involved?
I think it,
Couple
we just
hours
used
of
it
work.
with our own equipment, yeah.
Pulled it up.
Most of it had been destroyed at that point.
Yeah, it was, there was nothing there usable.
I
There
was,
was no way that molding could be used for anything. It was cracked, it was in the street. There was no way you could put it back
Actually, our
together.
police chief asked me to get rid of it because it was causing more accidents than
Yeah.
it was preventing.
I will say, I mean, this is totally the board's decision, and we can make something work, but for at least a year now, this has been the direction from, and obviously, you know, Mayor Beckman, pushed to go in this direction, so if you guys wanna change it now, that's fine. I would have recommended that you changed it this summer during the budgeting process.
That was then and this is now.
Yeah, what's done is done. We probably, it's not gonna, we could figure something out, right? We'll have to, find a landscaper, we'll have to order the cast stones, and have them, installed. But we're not gonna have as much economic development funds, and we may run deficits, in
Well,
that fund.
Obviously, we don't want to run deficits, and again, it's not a double or the deep blue sea, there's some median path
Well,
that we
sure.
can take that will do some of the corrective stuff, but I just don't like the idea that every single one of these things is gonna be paved over. We can get free plants, we can get free trees. I think I sent you a thing that the grant's coming up pretty soon with the Department of Conservation, and we can certainly get natives and I heard the stories about the sprinkling system being repaired and what, but, I don't ever know that I've seen it, and perhaps I've forgotten. Cost by cost, side by side kind of analysis. Like when you went and did the stuff for the Rochester Park, that may or may not ever happen. People were given, okay, what, do you want it to look like this, or do you want it to look like this, or do you want it to look like this, with different pricing on each one of those things. And I know that this takes work, it takes time, you've done a lot of work on this, and I personally appreciate it, because I've had to go through and try to get a park built. But I think we need to look carefully at our assumptions about what's expedient or what's best. And they're not always the same thing.
So, so one of the things that, I don't want to give the impression that I'm like, we need to go with this. If there is a, what do you call it? Compromise, then we can certainly discuss that. But I will say this, we did spend June, July, August, September, and this thing didn't get past the October. So I will say that my frustration, if anything, comes with the fact that we had 5 months to go through this. We had 5 months to read it. We had 5 months to go through everything. And I know because when we started talking about this, Mark had just stepped down and we had talked about this before. So the frustration, if you hear frustration in my voice, is not because I just want to get it done. It's because we have spent an enormous amount of time going, this is in the budget. Do you have questions about the budget? Is there anything that you don't want in the budget? So that is that is probably where you hear my frustration. And I will say that a long time to me, for the median and for Natural Bridge to look that way, it has looked like that for at least 5 years. And I'm gonna say again, to me, that's 1 year too many.
Yeah.
I would like to see a neat, clean something at the circle. I would like to see a neat, clean something. And like I said, the city attorney is here, so we can certainly ask him when it comes to like the liability of people being in the middle of the median and everything and doing things like that. Would it be nice to have an infinite amount of money to have nice plants at the circle? Yes, it would. It would be. It would be nice to have those things. But I will say, when you talk about like the Central West End, when you talk about Chesterfield, when you talk about University City, when you talk about those types of things, you have a much bigger budget and you have much more workers in Public Works than we have. We have 2 people in Public Works right now, and we already discussed how there is a labor shortage, not just here, but just like everywhere. So when you want things, you have to have money to get it done, and you have to have people to get it done. And do we have the money, and do we have the people? And then going forward, does that drain us and stop us from doing other things? There are certainly other aesthetic things that you can do on the circle to make it look appealing. You could have hanging plants. We could put up flags. We could have planters on the concrete and everything. So there are things that we can do that will not make it look like a concrete jungle, so to speak. I'm not trying to have it look like a concrete jungle, but I think moving forward, it would be good for us to have a nice, clean area. And 4 or 5 years of having it look like that, to me, where it's getting more and more dilapidated and looks like who shot John or who did it and what for, I don't think that's the best thing. So,
I'm not suggesting that it's the best thing. I'm suggesting that was neglect. That was neglect, and yeah, sometimes when you screw something up, it's gonna cost you some money to fix it.
Can I ask a question? Sam, you said that.
I'm sorry.
Can I ask
Wait,
about the
no,
$70,000?
I'm gonna let Vicky finish.
Yeah,
I interrupted, I'm sorry, Vicky, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'm just, okay, so one of the things, and if, we can go back on the minutes on this, I've been outvoted on this more than once. So don't say that I haven't said it before. I have said it before. And I didn't think it ever was a good idea. It was in the budget at a time that we were trying hard to get a budget passed. I thought we had some time. I didn't know that we were gonna have to do this right now. And I thought that there was a possibility for doing some other things. I suggested portal on our website. That didn't happen. I think that there are simpler ways of doing things than going straight to concrete here. I think that there's some medians that we can do. Even if you right now went in, dug up the weeds, got somebody to do it and simply mulch it all. Just put mulch. Because this looks like Kings Highway between, what is it, Del Mar and St. Louis Avenue, or even all the way down. It's all concrete, it's all nasty, it's all dirty, and I don't want Normandy to look like that.
Right now, we're in an election year. And I think that we should wait and see what happens, because we can't make these major decisions for the citizens out there without their knowledge. Because our major problem is not getting information to the citizens. And I know you worked hard, Yolanda. I appreciate you putting together.
I think we've all worked hard, and I think
Yeah,
I think we've all worked hard on this, and I think we all worked hard on the budget for the people that were here,
Yeah.
while we were doing the
I
budget.
understand what you're saying, but I
So-
think we need to wait on this. We're talking about our city, what's it gonna look like in the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years or whatever. But we know how great the great streets were. And as far as the fundings, we got a lot of other things. We got potholes out there that's gonna come. We got all this stuff for the citizens that we need to take care of. We had a bad time with the snow. Everybody, not just us, everybody across the country So we gotta look in terms of taking care of our citizens right now for their health and safety right now. Natural Bridge, we're gonna be able to take care of Natural Bridge, that corridor. But it's just Natural Bridge, Great Streets, but we got Ward 1, 2, 3, as well as 4. And the fundings, I know you put it in the budget, but just because it's in the budget, you know, that doesn't mean that we have to use that money for that, because we have to take care of the citizens. And I think that in this election year, we don't have to rush through this, because it's not going anywhere. That's my thought.
Sam, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna let us hash it out.
Okay, I'll say, it's gonna be hard, and I know you've voiced your opinion consistently, it's gonna be hard to, you know, decline this bid, and then like, let's say we do get all those cost comparisons, and we decide we do wanna go back this direction, it's gonna be hard to get anybody to bid on this.
I don't think so. I beg to
I,
differ.
I will say that it was, I mean, we only got one competitive bid this time, I don't think they're gonna bid again if we tell
Well,
them
they're
no.
not the only company, right?
Well, the second bid was not competitive.
Okay.
It was like 4 times as high.
Please.
So, again, this was the direction that the council and mayor told us that we wanted to go, going back to 2023. Once we got the TIF funds, we actually had the funds to do it. And so then we put it into the budget. Questions about, you know, well, what about the funds and wards, you know, 1 and 2? Well, over the course of 5 years, we will spend more if we don't do this project.
I don't think so. And that mayor is no longer here, so we have to go forward. You know, we have to, like I said, it's an election year now, and we don't have to rush to do it. We're not voting for this tonight anyway.
Well, no,
We
I,
need to-
I would
we
recommend
need to vote.
to vote
Yeah.
down the bid or to accept the bid.
I wanna
Because
hear.
we only
from-
have 6,
yeah.
I mean, we could go longer,
Yeah.
but
I wanna hear from some other people, though. I want,
Yeah.
Councilwoman, please.
I think we should go forward. We've already talked about it. We talked a lot about this project. We're still talking about it some more, then we wanna stop it again. We already budgeted for it, right?
yeah.
I think we should go forward. That's just my opinion.
Councilman Sexton-Hammond?
I've been listening to both sides, and I was in on the original with Murphy, so I understand it from the start until today. If there's no compromise per se, I'm like Councilwoman Cleveland, we've already budgeted, we need to go.
Councilman Washington?
I just got on the board, so I don't know all the discussions you guys had about this project. I don't like the way it looks out there now. I mean, we need to definitely do something about it. I understand what Mr. Councilman Nelson is saying as far as get some comparison. I don't mean, if you guys already discussed it, you already hashed it out, you already put it in the budget. And you know, like I said, I just got here, so I don't understand what the big argument is about. If you guys already almost talked about it for, what, half a year now, and still can't come up with a decision, we need to make a move. So,
Okay, I'm gonna put a motion on the floor, for, let's see. Where's my thing? Too many packets. It's a resolution. Can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 25-05? I will first. I get a second.
I'll second.
Did you read it out loud?
I read it the first time.
It's a resolution, I
Oh,
mean,
resolution. Can I get a, do we need to do you wanna do a roll call or just vote? Voice vote.
You can do either.
Let's do a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Bailey?
No.
Councilwoman Cleveland?
Yes.
Councilman Sachsenheimer?
Yes.
Councilwoman Campbell,
Yes.
Councilman Nelson,
No.
Councilman Washington.
No.
Okay, so we've got a tie.
What'd you say?
We have a tie of those
It's a
present.
tie, it's a 3-3.
Vote again.
Who breaks the tie?
I beg the tie. Yes.
The mayor, the person exercising the duties of the mayor.
Yes. All right. New business, resolution number 25-09, a resolution of the City of Normandy authorizing the purchase of snow removal equipment. Sam, you want to talk about, the bid is on the last packet.
Yeah, I'll say, so this resolution, one of the recommendations from, following the last council meeting and kind of going over the snow event was that we get more, equipment to increase redundancy and to, because we had a plow, a truck that broke down with the plow equipped on it. So, at the meeting, we had talked about getting 2 additional plows equipped, one on a medium duty truck and one on a light duty truck, and then also getting an additional spreader. We went and got some prices on some various different models. So what's attached here is not necessarily apples to apples, and this resolution doesn't specifically choose any one of the bidders, but we did go out and survey the cost, and we're pretty sure that to get a plow and a 2-yard V-box spreader on the medium duty truck, it's going to be about $20,000, and then to get an additional spreader, which is a 3rd spreader that we're talking about now, and then also get a plow attached on the light duty truck, that'd be an additional $15,000. So this resolution authorizes us to purchase equipment not to exceed that amount, and then it also authorizes shifting funds from the Public Works Project 25-1 equipment repairs, which was to repair the watering truck, the limb chipper, as well as some other major capital repairs that we need to do on equipment down at Public Works to purchase these items. I will say that I think that this 4th truck is completely for redundancy purposes. It's very likely that if everything goes smoothly during the event, that this equipment would be used.
Plow.
Well, plow and spreader.
You said the 4th truck.
Yeah, so the GMC Sierra, which is that's the 2025 truck that we just bought. It's the lightest truck that we have. If everything's going smoothly and we've got the big plow, the silver plow, and the F-350, it's likely that it wouldn't be used, and it would only be used if something went down, or if in the future we expand the number of people that we have. But it would be for redundancy sake, it would be good if a piece of equipment went down.
So this would give us 4 plows and 3 spreaders.
Right.
But we could, Dennis, do you think 3 plows would be sufficient enough? Could we reduce it?
Yeah, and like Sam said, the putting an additional plow on the Sierra, the 1500 would, that would be an emergency vehicle if 2 of the other ones went down.
Right.
This truck cost?
What's that?
What's the redundancy, or the backup truck cost?
So yeah, the backup is about $15,000.
Okay, gotcha.
All the
But
backside.
I am certainly recommending that we do $20,000, which would give us an additional plow, an additional spreader. That way we would have 3 plows, 2 spreaders. But now that we've gotten the prices, I'd like the council to make the decision on how much redundancy that we want.
I think 3 plows and 2 spreaders would be enough. I don't know what everybody
I'd
else
like to
thinks.
see 3 spreaders.
3 plows and 3 spreaders.
Yeah, I mean, one for every truck if you need it. That would give you the opportunity to pre-treat with every employee that you've got in the area, and then, you know, come back and switch them off.
Yeah, every truck needs to have a spreader with a plow.
Yeah, and so it's also, I mean, we could amend it to where we could get that additional spreader and get, you know, 3 plows, 3 spread. It's really whatever you guys want. I will say, I mean, even with everything, we budgeted pretty much just the right amount for this other equipment repairs project. So we budgeted $40,000 for those equipment repairs. We spent, I believe, $5,000 on the leaf vac already. So we have $35,000, and that's about how much that we would come in at. So the money's there, we just won't be able to fix the water trailer. And if the limb chipper goes down, then it may be, we may have to make an emergency repair on that.
Let's just go around the table. So, Councilwoman Valier, you said 3 and 3?
Yeah, 3 and
3 and
3.
3. Councilwoman Cleveland?
Look at this one. I'm sorry. I'm just-
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Let me ask a question about the repairs on the older trucks. Are any of them ready to be retired and could be replaced by a newer truck?
And Dennis, you can add to this if you want. I don't think so. Actually, our trucks are pretty new. The oldest one is the 2015
Oh, okay.
Ford, and it's a diesel.
Yeah.
So, and it's got about 100,000 miles, so it should have another 100,000.
Yeah.
Easily.
That's the one that's in the shop right now,
Yeah.
So, and then all the other ones, I mean, it
2019.
was a 2019 and we purchased it in 2021, or 2022, and then that International's a year old.
It's got 3,500 miles on it, waiting for its first service left this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilwoman Cleveland?
These are all the costs?
So, on that back sheet, it's not exactly apples to apples. You'll see that there's a bid for a V-blade, which they gave us, but honestly, we probably wouldn't go for that. The point is, it's about $10,000 to equip an 8-foot plow, and about $9,000 to equip the 7-foot plow on the GMC. And then it's about $7,000 for a salt spreader.
7,000 for a salt spreader.
For the salt spreader we want, yeah. Yeah, that would handle what we need.
Is that
It's
in
coming
your
from
public works
spreader?
budget?
So we're talking about reallocating the funds from fixing the water trailer and doing some major repairs to the limb chipper.
So that was in the public works budget, is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
So that wasn't in the public works budget?
No, because right now, I mean, right now, we have 2 trucks, right? We have 2 plows and 1 spreader. After the last event, I recommended, and I think the council expressed that we would like to get some extra equipment. So we're talking about amendments here.
So where's the money coming from? I'm sorry. Maybe I.
So it's gonna come from the capital improvement fund, but we had allocated those funds for public works projects, 25-1, equipment repairs, which were major repairs to extend the useful life of, we said the tractor, the limb chipper, the leaf vac, which we already did, and the water trailer.
That was the Ford?
Where are we with the capital improvement fund? Are we spending all of it? I mean, there's gotta be some left in that. Do we need, budget adjustments so we can get the chipper and the other things fixed? Are we too tight in that?
So, I mean, we are projected to have a $61,000 ending fund balance at the end of the year in the capital improvement fund. But where we would need to make the adjustments are the projects in the next 5 years. We would need to delay projects, if that makes sense. Because right now, we've got stuff planned out over 5 years. And one of those things, I'll also give a couple other updates regarding Public Works, which I meant to do at the top. So Dennis, you said that we got the quote for the new salt storage dome.
We got a first one in for a lower quality dome. It's gonna be 16,000 plus whatever it costs to erect it. And it's usually double the cost, so another 30,000. So 46,000 or so for the cheap one. And then I'm started working with another company today to try to get one that's gonna last a little more than, I don't know when this last one was made, but it'd be on the same scale as that one, not gonna last a whole long.
What makes it a lower quality dome?
The framing and the material, the framing, the steel framing, if it's at like 12 gauge, 20 gauge, 14 gauge, and then if you get a dome that is, the one that we just got was, the one that just fell apart was a canvas. And the one I'd like to see is one that's actually galvanized steel that's gonna last.
So that means
Like you
it'll
see.
sustain the weight.
Yeah, you'll be, the guarantee for the galvanized steel one is 25 years. And the other one there wasn't a guarantee with it.
What's the cost for that one?
I don't have that one yet. That was the first bid, the early one was the first one, so.
So, basically, we weren't able to put any of this in the Public Works budget when we did the budget, right?
No, it wasn't requested. I mean, you guys can say no, you guys can say no to this and we can still just have the two plows.
I know, but Sam, we spoke months ago about the inventory of Public Works, and we didn't go over it with the budget, with the board, because Public Works is important, for the health and safety of our city, and it seems like it's not being addressed. That's why we needed to go over the inventory months ago when I asked you. I think Ms. Vicky had spoke about the inventory.
Yeah, I sent you the inventory.
Yeah,
So,
we've
so,
gotten
so
the
what we,
inventory.
so what we doing is this capital improvement, is that what you're saying? We're spending this money on things that we need to have for Public Works, but it wasn't in the budget.
Yeah, at the last meeting, I recommended, and I got it seemed like the city council expressed that we want to increase the redundancy of equipment. So again, this isn't equipment that we necessarily need, but it is there for when things break down. And
So then we need it then.
Well, this is a result of our conversation from last meeting and the things that we talked about. What do we need to do going forward to improve on our snow removal? So this isn't like so this is part of that conversation.
We had an unanticipated weather phenomenon.
Right.
So, when we're looking at the budgets, are we looking at, those kind of monkey wrench kinds of things that happen? What we had was not working, it wasn't in good repair, and there wasn't any redundancy, so that we couldn't, if we were down to one truck, we weren't getting much snow removed, so we need to fix that. When we're looking at the capital improvement budget and things that it can be spent for, perhaps we need to go back and reassess the budget as passed to see whether or not the things that we passed in there that haven't been spent still need to be spent so that we can shift our priorities a little bit.
Yeah, okay, so I recommended that we do the equipment repairs. If you wanted to do a different area, the message board, we just approved that bid, so, that, a little late on that, although, yeah, I would say it's too late on that. The additional truck, the GMC Sierra for Public Works, we went ahead and purchased that. There is a second car in the police department, which we haven't purchased yet. I would not recommend taking that away. The radar and message trailer would be the second place I would look. I mean, we could push the radar trailers back. We have $40,000 for multiple radar trailers. So we could push that.
Well, multiple, meaning how many?
I think it was two, yeah. One, the Parks Board wanted like a messaging one, that was
Right.
smaller to help promote events, and then, the police department wanted, a few like pole-mounted options as well. So we could take from those funds and, do that and push off radar trailers to a future year.
Well, maybe
And then
let's
the
get
other
one
areas were street projects, and,
street project. Oh, yeah,
yeah, and
but that's roads and roads and bridges too, isn't it?
yeah, it is mostly, but there were some capital improvement funds that we were putting towards those
Okay.
as well. So, yeah, I would say the only other place that is a real easy fit or real easy smooth change would be the radar trailer.
I would say, maybe about, what does two cost versus one? Could we get by with just one?
One,
Just the
oh,
radar
a
One
radar
radar
trailer?
trailer.
Yeah, I mean, we have 0 right now. It's just, it's a speed deterrent.
Yeah,
Well, we have one that
Right,
can't move.
right.
I mean, it reads your speeds, but
It's accurate, I mean,
it's just gotta be plugged in.
Where's it at?
It's right there. They got it plugged
Up
into
there
the
on
street light.
Natural Bridge
By the school.
elementary school.
oh, and these would have its own power source, or batteries, or what?
Right, that one is so old that the batteries,
It's at least
Yeah.
25 years
Oh, here
old.
it is. So it says on page 43, the current radar trailer is outdated and limited in use. New trailer could be used in multiple and rotating locations as a speed deterrent. The message trailers can also be used for promotion of city events and has been recommended for purchase by the Parks Board. Messaging trailer can also be used as a traffic control device.
I would say that I would be on the side of the traffic control device. I think there's other ways that we can communicate and that don't cost very much money, if anything.
So this is to answer your question, this is for the purchase of 2 radar,
Right,
yeah, 2 of them.
so
And one
I'm
with the message.
suggesting that we get one instead of 2. Now, what's the difference in cost there?
yeah,
And
well,
what could we buy on the other end with that? Like, could we make sure that the chipper gets fixed or something else?
So how much did the trailer cost with the messaging board? And how much was the one without?
I think it was, I remember it's a ballpark of about $20,000 for a nice radar trailer. And I think that includes a small messaging board.
So,
But again, and also, like, we only we don't have to spend $40,000 on snowplows right now. We can do 20 and 20, right? And,
yeah, we could
And-
probably get through this season and put it in the next year's budget.
right, yeah, so we could, and I would, police department's not here to defend themselves. If we're gonna do like only spend 20,000, we would still probably have enough to get the water trailer fixed. I mean,
Would work for me.
I like that plan.
but that's exactly why I'm taking it to you guys, because we talked about, 4 plows, but now we
Right.
actually have the numbers, let's make the decision.
Right.
I think,
If you're trying to decide which one to get fixed, the chipper needs the blades more than we need a water trailer.
Okay.
I think if we, like you said, I think if we could probably get by with just $20,000 worth of equipment than 40. I don't see, I pray to God I'm saying this now.
Yeah, we all get excited about new budgets and say, oh, well, we got this money, we're gonna spend it.
It's not gonna be a snow event,
Right.
I don't think, coming up.
Yeah, I think we got,
No.
we can.
Please don't burn bread.
You never know.
And question, Sam, when are we gonna start construction on Natural Bridge?
Well, once we.
Wait,
decide-
let's
Yeah.
finish this first,
Oh,
and then
okay.
you can ask, yeah.
Okay, got you. We're done, right?
No, we're not done. Vicky was talking.
Vicky?
No, I'm good. If we're gonna cut it down to 20 instead of 40 for the, I like the idea of one trailer message radar, and not two.
For right now.
Okay, so,
Yeah, I agree.
So we would have to
But-
decide what now here,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, so if we're not interested in equipping the light duty truck, so now we're just talking $20,000 to get an 8-foot plow on the Ford F-350 and the 2-yard salt spreader on there, then we would make a motion to strike section 2 from the resolution. To amend the resolution to remove section 2.
Section 2.
There's also some other language.
I can't,
There's also some other language in the resolution that refers to 2 vehicles.
well, we can,
Okay.
Okay. So get rid of,
So we're talking about cutting back on the snow plows now?
no,
Oh,
Adding 3.
we're talking about just adding one.
do we want to, we have 2 snow plows and 1 spreader in our fleet right now. The question is, do we want to add 2 more plows and 2 more spreaders, or just 1 more plow and 1 more spreader?
So if we only wanted one more plow, one more spreader, like on this page, we would be getting rid of section 2.
And that,
It's on the thinner packet on the inside.
and that,
No, that one right there.
that
yeah.
4th plow and 3rd spreader, or 4th plow and 4th spreader rather. It's the lightest duty truck, it's not gonna push snow very well, it's gonna be like if everything else breaks down.
Back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if everything breaks down, we get an budget amendment, emergency, and hire somebody.
Yeah, there's that too.
We have that fund for that.
I just don't want a repeat of the last episode we just had.
I don't think anybody wants that.
So if we need to take care of the snow plows, because we're still in the middle of winter right now. You never know what might happen.
So you wanna keep the 40?
I'd
Keep
rather
it
keep it
intact.
forward.
Any other?
I'd rather do the 20 right now.
Did you get one?
Get a plow and a,
So there's a motion second, we can vote on it, and then.
Nobody made a
Unless you
motion,
want-
we're just doing a, like
Yeah,
a straw poll.
okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just getting the information now. So,
So there are 2 ideas
yeah,
here, I think. One that said, how many plows can we get, how many spreaders can we get? Can we get another truck? There's the other one about the radar trailers. So we could save 20 if we only got one there, right? Which would give us some more money on this side, which would mean that we could get the little truck maybe, and 1 plow for it. It's kind of a trade-off there.
Would that work?
so we would get the snow equipment from section 1, but not section 2, if we did it. If we did the 20, just 20.
No, I'm not talking about taking anything out of snow removal and
she's
all of
talking
that.
about adding,
I'm just
Oh, you
trying to
mean,
figure out.
don't use the trailer, don't get the
Yeah.
trailer and add it towards this?
just
Yeah,
get
get
the
only
one
one
or 2.
trailer instead of the
And then
other,
add
add
it
it to,
towards this.
And then
Okay.
add that money, that 20 to
and then
this.
see where we are with that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So there's a question of how much equipment we have, and then where's that money gonna come from? And
Right.
they are somewhat related,
Right,
but we can decide how much equipment we have. Yeah.
right. Because that trailer could come in handy if, road is blocked, tree is down, any of those kinds of things. But I think 2 of them right now, it might not be what we need.
We don't
Because
need
we
one?
can't have everything that we need. We just don't have enough money.
so would we have to make a motion to amend the budget and,
So section 3 does that.
but we wouldn't have to make a motion to remove the second trailer from the budget?
Well, if that's what you guys wanna do, and, I mean, if you wanna take from the police department and give it to Public Works, or do you wanna just change what Public Works was gonna spend the money on?
I think everybody's gotta give a little.
Yeah. And you can, you know, you could do that 50-50, if you need an extra, so.
You know, split it down.
My question is, what would be the motion on the floor? Which one would come
Yeah.
first?
Well, I think to decide how much money you need to move around, we need to know how much equipment. So the first question is the equipment.
Okay, so the first question is, do we keep this resolution intact?
Yeah.
Okay,
Do we do both trucks or one truck?
okay. What do you guys, both trucks or one truck?
I make a motion that we do both trucks. I'd rather be
So it's
prepared.
35,000.
You get a second? Councilwoman Valier, did you hear?
So
me?
hold on. This is kind of, he's actually not voting to amend the motion. Is there anyone who wants to amend the motion?
If we,
Two trucks,
Or
right?
amend, which would be one truck. Is there anyone interested in one truck?
yeah, does anybody want one truck?
We need 2 trucks.
Everybody wants to keep it.
So,
the way
sorry,
it is.
Yeah, we just need to fund it.
Yeah, so everybody wants to keep it.
So if we-
Yeah.
His
so if
motion
we
would
say,
keep
okay,
everything the
here,
same.
We
Yeah,
keep it the
that
same,
was my
and we
intent.
find money from somewhere
And then we
else.
find
and
some
I'll
money
fund
from somewhere else.
So basically, what's gonna happen is, we're gonna have 3 trucks, 3 spreaders, and then we'll have another plow and spreader with the 4th truck? Is that what's gonna happen?
Third truck.
When it's all done?
If this passes, we would have 4 trucks with 4 plows and 3 spreaders. There would
Okay.
be 1 truck without a spreader.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that'll be the small truck, right?
Yeah.
Right, the one to come clean up, cause it should be all done anyway, cause it can't do heavy stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't even have a 4th driver
Okay.
for it.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
right.
So we're just buying this earlier than we would have otherwise, because it was on 2025. But does this knock out the chipper and the
No,
water
No.
truck? No,
no.
we still have money for that.
Well, no, it will knock out the chipper and water truck
Unless
unless
we
you
find.
Unless you
pull from the radar.
Move for the
Got it.
radar, yeah.
All right, so I think there's 2 motions on the floor.
So Steve's motion
Was to accept
is
it as
to
it
accept
is.
it as
As
is.
written.
Right,
And then
I
we
will
go-
second.
okay.
Let me get,
Except all of this, one,
Yeah,
which
Yeah.
section?
I mean, if you're not
to
changing
get
anything,
4 plows.
Nothing.
three
I thought
spread-
you said we had to vote.
That's
Do
what
we
I
have to change anything?
proposed.
well, if you wanted to change it, you need to vote, but if no one wants to change it.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
motion we need now is for the radar detector.
Yeah, so I would say, I'm confused too, because it sounded like you guys wanted to remove the.
No, at first
satellite
everybody-
truck.
They changed it to, you just wanna accept the way it
We
is.
just
Yeah.
wanna take it the way that it is, and
That
we
was
wanna
my
I
get,
intent,
understand.
just the way it is.
But it's just, it's fine.
and we
Okay.
wanna get rid of the second radar detector.
That'd be a
We
second.
don't, yeah, we don't need that.
Okay, I would recommend,
That's just right. No, it's right.
allocating $15,000 from that project. $15,000 from.
It just says police, I don't know, is it,
Hold on.
oh, it's PD 25-2.
Yeah, I would recommend allocating $15,000 from PD 25-2 towards this, and then the additional $10,000, or sorry, the additional $20,000 would still come from PW 25-1. So you're taking a little bit from both. So we can still get the water trailer, we can still get a radar trailer, both,
Right,
or a limb chipper.
right.
Yeah, so moved.
Instead of getting 2 radars, we're getting 1.
He can't make the motion. He
Yeah,
was
I-
just telling us.
I stated it, and you
Oh,
said
you-
so. moved.
okay.
I said so moved.
I don't think we got an all in favor on the approval of resolution.
He said we didn't need to.
2509.
No, we don't need that, because we're not changing
We're,
anything.
no, but
We didn't ever vote on it in
No.
the first place.
I thought
Well,
there
we're
was a-
amending
wait,
it. So right now, he just made a motion.
Okay, hold on. Can we just go back first to the first motion to approve resolution 2509 with no changes, correct?
Yes.
There was a motion. and
But we're about to
There
make
was
a
a motion and a
change.
second, but there was no all in favor.
Because
That's what I'm
then he
trying to
told me I didn't need to vote, so I didn't. Okay, all in
But
favor?
but I think if you want
Pass
to
the
make,
resolution. Don't,
if you
because
want to
you're
make
about
an
change
amendment,
it.
then I think
Yeah.
everyone should vote to, there is a motion and a second on the floor.
Yeah.
So if everyone wants to make an amendment, we should vote no.
Wait,
Right.
amendments are
Changes.
subsidiary.
Well, okay, you're right, but
Right.
if there's a motion to amend, then, I mean, or you could, yes.
Okay,
So is there a motion to amend?
is there, that's, okay.
So moved.
I'm losing track of, yeah.
I know, I'm losing
Okay.
track now too.
Yeah, I'm getting confused.
This is project PD 25-2 that we're moving to, right?
So,
I thought it was on resolution 25-09.
okay, let me restate the motion to amend.
No, it's on page,
So, motion to amend section 3 of 2509 to include allocating $15,000 from project number PD 25-2 in the capital improvement budget and $20,000 from PW 25-1.
So moved.
That's a motion to amend. Is there a second to the motion to amend?
second.
Okay, so now we vote on the motion to amend the resolution.
All right, I need a roll call or
It's up
just
to
all
you.
in favor?
It's up to you.
Oh, can I get a roll call vote?
Councilman Stockton-Hammer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cleveland.
Yes.
Councilwoman Bayet.
Yes.
Councilman Washington.
Yes.
Councilman Nelson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Campbell.
Yes.
All right, now we would need a motion and a second to approve resolution 2509 as amended.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Sorry about that.
Clarity for 2 plows, 3 spreaders.
Well, yeah, yes.
Equal, 3 plows,
I'll clarify.
Okay.
clarify it all.
That's it, right?
So what about moving the trailer money? Do we need to deal with that?
Oh, can
We
you?
did that.
Yeah.
We did it, it's good.
That was, that
Can
was,
you give us a full update, just?
Oh, and then there was one other update before we got sidetracked. So, we did have our public works labor resign, so, I won't go into it because we're not in closed session, but, it's unfortunate. So, right now, we are down a person, but I believe you already have some interviews scheduled.
I had one really good interview today.
Okay.
Was the driver, was it?
How many
No,
candidates are
it was the laborer, so he,
So
younger
we have
guy.
two.
He's been here for like 9
We
months.
have Dennis and the
We
other.
just have.
No, how many, you said you were interviewing, how many candidates do we have? How many have?
We had 3.
Okay.
Was it promising?
The one today he's experienced and, yeah.
So yeah, we're working to fill the position, but, and I don't expect any issues.
Can I ask a question? Would it always just be 3 public workers, including the director, or do we have budgeted for another public works person?
You have a part-time in the summer, you have part-time summer like budgeted,
Just one,
well, part-time,
part-time, and that's only for summertime only?
yeah.
No more trash.
Yeah, if we don't have a sanitation department, we don't need 9 guys down there, so.
So just 3 people?
Yeah, keep the grass cut and keep trash picked up and then run the plows when it snows. I mean, there's a lot more that you guys do. I don't wanna like diminish it, but those are the big things, that require the most manpower.
And that's enough people? That's enough that's all you need? Just, because I see you all the time, and I see Will, and I saw the labor guy.
Well, of course, I'd like another person, but we can manage, but it's just,
Do we need another person?
it would be a luxury. And I don't think we're at a luxury point.
He has requested another person, it's just,
We have
You
an
wanna get rid of
ordinance.
the receptionist, you wanna.
Yeah, there's no money now.
Yeah, it would be nice, but it's a luxury we can't afford right now.
Court clerk, we need another
Yeah,
court
court
clerk, we need a full-time receptionist, we need to rate officer pay to make sure we can get more people in the door, like, it's,
What are our numbers at all?
It doesn't help that the city just raised their
I didn't
salary
have it
for
for you,
officers.
it hasn't changed much.
7%.
We had 7% raise.
They just raised.
Oh, I think
They
it's,
just gave a
The
police
city of
officer
St.
7% raise.
here, I really don't think it's changed
So the
since we've done the budget,
So the
I think we
competition
lost.
is gonna be a
Well, that's a
whole
part of
One
the big
person?
funds they
Yeah,
got.
there's a
27.
competition for.
So
getting
yeah,
police
we're
officers.
budget 27 and we have 20.
They're still 75 to 90 now. They're just trying to retain
Yeah.
it first.
And we actually held interviews today, they're running the process right now.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
You say 7?
7%. They got a 7% raise.
There was
Like last week.
incident on the
7%.
Oh, 7.
The police department in St. Louis City.
We don't have so
in
many.
this, but I didn't see it in any of the police reports. In Glen Echo, 7200 block of Anderson. I get these alerts from an outside source about crime in my neighborhood. I think it's from my agency. But it says that there was an assault and vandalism, 7200 of Natural Bridge on January 7th.
I'm not sure, I can ask chief for you and
Yeah.
get you, okay. Or you can,
Yeah,
you
I'll
want me
ask
to?
her.
Okay.
I think she's in there.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
I'll start.
What?
What's the dog?
She has her dog?
200
Oh.
is St. Andrews. I live on the corner of, St. Andrews is where you come in the big gate, houses on both sides. I just. All right.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, check them.
And I got home, and I got something to eat.
No, I-
Oh, the resolution.
I know when I get my recliner, it's on and popping.
You get to buy 2 positive toothbrush.
It's gonna be on and popping.
Oh, and Yolanda called, it's like, who, what?
350